Thank you, Donna. So it's International Women's Day tomorrow, and I'm not a woman, so I'm going to be really quick. So three things to share with you, really perspectives from me as obviously a man, and obviously a man in a position of management. I think through the first part of my career, like a lot of people, we're kind of learning, we don't know how the world works, and we're quite naive about things. And actually, through a significant part of my career, I assumed that in order to get on in life and to be successful and to get promoted and to do well, you just had to work hard and earn it. And I was wrong about that, because actually there are people in the workforce that have a significant advantage over others, and that's their gender. And people like me, white men, have a huge advantage in the workforce compared with women and compared with other minorities. And I think I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. I thought I was just good. I thought, well, I'm just better than everybody else. And actually, it's not just that. It's not even that. It's the fact that I have a huge inherent advantage in that I'm a man. And now I'm a man in a position of authority, in a position of power. I feel a real sense of duty to do something about that. How can we level the playing field? How can we change that perspective and experience for women and for all minorities and to respect all diversity in the workplace? A couple of little examples of that. I remember this is part of my awakening, I think, that I was invited to be on a panel about 3 years ago in London, and it was in the evening. It was a discussion about technology, and the organisation that had run this panel, it was called London Geek Girl Dinners. And so the name would imply it's about technology, and it's women. And so the entire audience of about 60 people were women. There were 4 people on the panel, and I was the only guy. In fact, I was the only guy in the building. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I'm like the only guy here. It was like some special experience that I had never experienced before. It was a new thing. I thought, this is remarkable. And actually, that's not remarkable if you're a woman. It's not remarkable in many contexts if you're a minority to find yourself being the only person in that minority in the room. And so that was a huge wake up for me. I thought this is like, can't believe it. I was telling everybody as if it was like a really special occasion. And it is a special occasion when that happens, but it's not if you're not a guy. And another one of my kind of things that I've decided to do to try and do my bit, and we do lots of things and we want to champion women in the workplace, and I think we do a pretty good job of championing diversity, but a lot more to do. And again, another little change that I'm trying to influence is that I occasionally get invited to roundtable discussions in evenings, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. I'll get an invitation from some analyst or consultant that says, we're hosting a kind of roundtable discussion on the future of AI or the future of blockchain, and we'd love you to come along, and we'll have like 10, 15 people around the table, and we'll have some food and we'll just have a conversation about it. It's a kind of networking thing. I don't really think very much about them, and they come up maybe 4 or 5 times a year. And about a year or 2 ago, I was at one. In fact, I had 2 in the same week, and the first one I showed up, and there was only one woman in the room. So there was about 16 people around the table, and the rest were men, including me. In fact, even the people that were serving the food were men. And I was sitting there thinking, oh, I've done it again. I've come along to one of these things, and I'm actually cementing this world. I'm actually making this not go away as a challenge, where we're actually supporting constructs and meetings and social gatherings that are just not women friendly. And then I had one at the end of the week, and there were no women at all. And I felt really bad about that. I felt that I was kind of underwriting this whole construct where it's okay for a group of men to get together and chat about stuff, and there are no women there. And you can imagine why women aren't there. If that's what you expect you're going to be invited to go along to, and you're probably going to be one of only one woman there, or a minority, of course you're not going to go to that. And so I remember tweeting about it. I said, right, I'm done. And if I'm ever invited to go to a dinner again in the evening, I'm going to ask what the diversity mix is. And if it's not good enough, then I'm not going to go. And I'm going to tell the organizer that's why I'm not going. And I actually did that. I was invited to one last month, and it was actually quite awkward. I felt quite awkward doing it. I felt, we'd love you to come to this dinner. It would be great. It'd be great to have you there. And I said, before I come, can I ask, and you can get this came out wrong, are there going to be any women there? And like trying to do good, all of a sudden you sound like some Lothario. But I don't mean like I'm only going to come if there are women there for that reason. Is that, and I obviously explained why I'm asking, and they said, no, that's when I think you'll find the great diversity, and we have a number of minorities represented, and including female participation as well. And so it's now my thing, is that if I'm invited to anything now, I'm going to say I'm only going to come if there are at least as many women or minorities represented as there are white men, because I'm not going to underpin and underwrite this old construct any longer. And that's just like one little story. And there's a lot more we can do, and there's a lot more that we as men can do to not just International Women's Day comes along, and it's not just a kind of celebration of women, but like me, I'm sure a few of you might be sailing through life thinking that life is just a meritocracy, and it's just how hard you work and how good you are and who you know. But actually your gender has a huge part to do with how successful you are in business, and particularly if you're in a position such as mine, we'll have a job to do to try and balance that out. And so it's great for us to celebrate International Women's Day tomorrow, and it's fantastic we have some guest speakers along to share their stories. So I will now shut up and hand over to the next person. Thank you very much.